make it snappy, and re-invite Councillor Alex to continue with where he had stopped, and then we can proceed with the program. Once again, we are apologetic, especially for those online and as well as those that are here with us. Let's get back to what we were doing before. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yesterday someone said the massacre problems need cleansing. I think you've witnessed that. Well, the Massacre Bar Association stands before you today to address a critical issue that has plagued our community for far too long. Despite our persistent efforts to engage with the judiciary, top management, the severe shortage of officers in Masaka High Court Circuit remains unresolved. The Masaka High Court Circuit serves 10 districts, and out of these 10 districts, we have Masaka District, Masaka City, Kalungu District, Chotera District, Rakai District, Luengo District, Bukoma Nsimbi, Semba Bulelyantonde, and Kalangala. Those of you who haven't been to Kalangala, that is an island. With a population of over 2 million people, that is 2 million and beyond, our circuit is one of the most populous, old, and busy in the country. Yet we are expected to function with inadequate resources, judicial resources, and this is causing untold hardships to litigants and undermining the rule of law that we as lawyers stand for and we are here to uphold. We have recently, or on previous occasions, utilized various forums to bring this issue to the attention of the judiciary management, including meeting with the principal judge, other stakeholders, and raising the same issue to the various forums of jealous stakeholders. We have participated in discussions and consultations, all aimed at finding a solution to this crisis. Unfortunately, despite all this effort, the promises made by the judiciary management have not been fulfilled. The people of Greater Masaka, including the districts therein, continue to still suffer the consequences of delayed justice. We all know justice delayed is justice denied. Cases linger on the court cause lists for years, and our clients are denied their right to a fair and timely hearing, which is a right given to them by the Constitution of Uganda. And this is only paid by several adjournments that have become the order of the day in Masaka High Court Circuit. The absence of sufficient judicial officers has resulted in a significant backlog, causing untold hardship to litigants and undermining the rule of law and frustrating the work of us as lawyers. Masaka has had a history of transferring judges, and they take long to replace judges that are on transfer. And this problem has been repetitive. It affects very many cases. We have been patient, but we believe our patience has worn thin. We have been promised solutions, but these solutions have been theoretical. They have not materialized. The judiciary management has, since the strike, come up with excuses of a hurried strike. If I can quote, it is all over the press. The Deputy Chief Justice came out and said the massacre strike was hurriedly. The question is, when was the right time for this to happen? That is one of the questions that are left unanswered. The judiciary is not providing a practical remedy for the problem. It is against this backdrop that we, the Greater Massacre Bar, we are compelled, or have been compelled to take drastic measures. We have initiated a sit-down strike to draw attention to this crisis and to demand action from the judiciary and the government. Very many questions keep lingering within our minds, but they are not answered. This issue was addressed to the Deputy Chief Justice when he was the PJ, and he promised to act. He did not act. He's now the Deputy Chief Justice. We have an acting principal judge. This issue falls within the docket of the principal judge. Why do we have the Deputy Chief Justice coming out to speak on behalf of the principal judge? The management of the judiciary is headed by the CJ, Chief Justice. The answer and the guess is as the one you have. These are our demands. We demand immediate deployment of additional judges and another registrar. We urge the judiciary to deploy more High Court judges to the massacre circuit to address the overwhelming case backlog that has brought us in this situation. We pray for increased judicial resources. We demand for increased judicial resources. As already seen above, another question comes to our heads. There is a body joining all judicial officers in the country. Good enough, we have a representative here. The UJOA, Uganda Judicial Officers Association. We are calling upon them because their silence seems to be very loud. How can an association allow one of their officers to serve under these situations? Massacre has cases that go to 4,600 High Court cases, and the top management expects one judge to handle this. That's impossible. We have one registrar. It is not that massacre has never had more than one judges. We have been having two judges, the highest we have ever had. There is a time when we even had two registrars, and work was somehow smoothly running. Right now, we have one of the judges who went on a study leave. That is, she's entitled to that. And we don't blame her for that. We blame the judiciary. We have a representative from the Judicial Service Commission. We believe we may be corrected if we are wrong. When these judicial officers are asking for leave, at least the Judicial Service Commission is notified. What have they done for this vacuum that is in massacre? We have other courts that have almost the similar population of cases, but they have more judges. By statistics, if we could look at the civil division and the cases in massacre are almost the same. But how many judicial officers, how many judges are in the civil division? Massacre has one judge. These are people from the village. They come from as far as Kalangala. Kalangala has more than 40 islands. Most of us, when we go to Kalangala, we go to the main island. There are islands where, in order for you to get to the main island, you have to board 4 boats. Imagine this person coming from as far deep as there. In situations when the waters are deadly, there is a period when the waters are deadly. This person struggles, he comes to court, and only to be told the judge is not available. That is the pain people in Masaka have. Someone brings a claim, financial claim. They want to be paid back. They have bought some land. The land has gotten in problems associated to it. So this person asks for a reclaim, for a refund. 200 million, or any monies that are above 50, jurisdiction of High Court. And this person's matter takes over 2 years before it goes to the judge. And even when it goes to the judge, it takes another 1 year for them to go to the judge. Even when they go to the judge for scheduling, the matter is going to suffer at least a 4 months adjournment. Altogether, you are taking 4 to 5 years for this person to get justice. Are we really giving these people justice? Let's take an example of Mukono, another one. Mukono has slightly higher numbers than Masaka. Mukono has 4 judges. Senior judges, by the way. The judge we have in Masaka is new. She's a junior judge. She's in her acting capacity. What do we expect from this judicial officer? However much she does her best, as she's doing, and the registrar is doing her best, they can't do enough. They can't do anything. It's like getting a drop of water and put it in an ocean. That's the situation in Masaka. That is the reason we are in this situation. That is the reason as to why the lawyers decided to sit down, put down their tools until when the voices are heard. This is not something that has just come abruptly. Like we have stated, we have been having deliberations and engagements with these officers, and they have always been promising. On several occasions, the principal judge, now the deputy chief justice, and other administration officers have been coming to Masaka, and these concerns on open days have been brought up by litigants. And these officers promised them, we are going to give you judges. They promised us 2 judges in Masaka, and serious ones, 2 active judges, and another judge in Rakai. But all these promises were not fulfilled. These promises were made when the judiciary expected 16 judges. The president gave them 25 judges, extra 9. But still we didn't get any judge. This is the situation where we're in, and you as a lawyer, a client approaches you and they need a remedy, and you cannot afford any. Why? Because you don't have anywhere you're going to get this. So people have resorted to going to the RDCs. What is the RDC going to do? The RDC is going to worsen things. But he also has to do something to help these people, because it's a community suffering. The lawyers are suffering, but we work on instructions. The clients give us instructions, and they are asking us for accountability. We don't have anything to bring to answer to their questions. So it is upon that we thought it proper, and we deemed it so, and we signed a resolution which we have since served to almost all the stakeholders involved in the management of cases. And it is at this moment that I pray to officially hand our signed resolution to the leadership of ULS nationwide, so that they can also help us in following up this. We also call upon every person. This is not a Masaka issue. It is only happening, it is only that Masaka people have decided to take the lead. We call upon all the lawyers. This injustice is not only in Masaka, it is in all the places countrywide. Please, let us act. Whoever is responsible, let us act. We are not helping lawyers in Masaka, no. We are helping the community in Masaka. It is, before I hand over the resolution to the President, we are under the ULS, and everything that is happening, we are doing it with the guidance of our leaders. And since today is a day for children, I have something to raise about children. The problems of Masaka do not end. Masaka, the greater Masaka, does not have a remand home. These children have to be ferried from Naguru to Masaka. So it is not only the adults that are facing injustice, even the children are not getting justice. These children are gotten from police, they are brought to court, and the court remands them. They are given to the probation officer, who does not have anywhere to keep them. These children are not getting justice as well. So it is affecting every person, whatever category you are. This does not distinguish whatever political party you belong to, whatever gender, whatever age, whatever religion, whatever tribe. It is affecting all of us. Please, we are asking you to act. We are asking you to do your job. You're not doing us a service. You're not doing us a favor, rather. I beg your pardon. Please do your work. It is at this point that I pray that the President, the representative of the President, comes over and we officially hand over our resolution. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Councillor Alexander, for fighting for the voiceless. We know not all of them could be here. We receive the petition, of course, we don't take it for granted. It takes so much, it takes a lot of energy and confidence to bring this up. Thank you for fighting for the lawyers of Greater Masaka, and we are sure that the lawyers of Greater Masaka have spoken for those in other jurisdictions, because the issue is actually affecting all lawyers, and that in effect affects access to justice. And of course, we want to take the opportunity as the Uganda Law Society, as the petition has been presented, to take it on and see how to get a solution to it by liaising with the judiciary. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, of course our time is up and a lot has gone down. As we were at that, the burning issues that needed to be addressed by the representative of the Judicial Service Commission shall be brought forth so as to allow him to excuse himself like he has always been begging. We once again request you to bear with us. Thereafter, we shall have a response to the petition that has been brought forth by one Ruth Angom, who is part of this secretariat, the Members' Affairs Department. But before that, we shall hear from Uncle Sam. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There are certain things you don't want to witness. You say, I wish that one had passed. And this is one of them. If you are a person in the chain of the deliverer of justice. I sympathize very much first with the people in Masaka that used the court. I want you to imagine a person whose case had been fixed in these days when the lawyers are on strike. And from the words of counsel, it takes almost 4 years or 3 to get a hearing date. Now you turn up in court and they say, sorry, your case cannot proceed because the lawyers are on strike. I want you to imagine someone who's looking for an order of maintenance for a child, and he turned up to his counsel's chambers, and they said, lawyers are not going to court, and he needs immediate remedy from the court. There are a lot of things you would imagine really. For us, lawyers, the clients come to us are like patients who go to hospitals. At that moment when he's coming to you, he really, really badly needs a remedy to his problem. You'll never imagine the sickness of your next person, even if you're waiting to see the same doctor. You don't know his pain. So the last thing that person needs to hear is the doctor is not around. The doctor has gone for lunch. The doctor has gone for a seminar. Because certain things do not wait. So, having said that, I would also sympathize with lawyers. It is also very frustrating. I've personally been there. When a client comes to you, assuming, has execution been suspended? No, execution has not been suspended. A bailiff has a warrant. He's attaching your client's house, and you cannot go in to apply for an interim order for stay of execution. What will happen? That is a client who's going to suffer irreparable damages. I had a very unfortunate experience while I was practicing. My client was evicted. As soon as we were staying execution, the ruling came in just shortly before 5 o'clock, and by 6 o'clock they had demolished the house. Nothing to do. So that kind of thing. So we also sympathize with you. It is very, very frustrating when a client comes to you and you are helpless. You take a matter to court, and a client even comes, some of them think you've connived. Some of them think you are doing nothing about it. But my point is one, and I will tell you our response. My point is one. In the delivery of justice, we have many players. This justice is not given by one person or one institution. If you expect court alone to give you justice, then you'll not get it, because justice delivery has a chain. And in that chain, you have advocates. In that chain, you have state attorneys. In that chain, you have magistrates and judges. Then you have bailiffs, you have prison, police, and all that. So whenever each one of them breaks down, the system cannot move smoothly. So for the 1 week or so you are not working, you can be very sure that already people are suffering more than they have been suffering. If the judge was scheduled to hear 10 cases this week, those people have lost the chance. So the point is communication.
Thank you. There is a response that has come in that is supposed to add to what Uncle Sam is giving us as responses, and it's supposed to be read shortly by one of our members, Councillor Ruth Angom, who is going to give us a response, and then Uncle Sam can proceed. We kindly ask that you allow us breach this protocol a little. Thank you. Ruth?
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, all protocol observed. My name is Angom Ruth Julie. I am the Program Officer for Professional Development at the Uganda Law Society in the Members Affairs Department. And I'm here to present a humble apology for Mr. Ellison Karuhanga, who is unable to be here, physically here, to attend in honor of an invitation from the Radical New Bar President of the Uganda Law Society, Mr. Isaac Semakade, Senior Counsel, who requested him to kindly present on behalf of the Uganda Law Society a response to the petition from the Greater Massacre. Mr. Karuhanga is currently engaged in High Court where he has a matter central, and he is central to the defense team of Miss Molly Katanga. And due to this scheduling conflict, I have been requested to stand in for him and present his remarks, which were published in the Daily Monitor yesterday at page 14 as the letter of the day. I believe most of us saw it. Yes. And it's titled Justice Buried Alive, Massacre, Strike is a Cry from Within the System. And it has been adopted as the response of the bar by order of council. So, yes, so let me get right into it. Justice buried alive, massacre strike is a cry from within the system. Lawyers in Greater Massacre have done the unthinkable. They've put down their wigs and gowns, walked out of courtrooms and gone on strike. This is not a tantrum. It is not sabotage. It is not even a protest. It is something deeper, more alarming. It is the justice system itself crying out from within. The facts are simple, brutal, and heartbreaking. There is only one judge in the entire Greater Massacre region tasked with hearing and resolving over 4,290 cases. That's not a backlog. That's a burial ground for justice. Let us be honest. Once you subtract weekends, court vacations, public holidays, and judicial leave, a judge has roughly 198 working days in a year. Even at a superhuman pace, I beg your pardon? Even at a superhuman pace, say 5 trials a day, 5 days per case, it would take 22 years to clear that backlog. This is not justice delayed, it is justice denied. No, it is justice buried alive. And that figure doesn't even account for the aftershocks of the recent Succession Amendment Act, which wiped out thousands of existing grants of probate and letters of administration. Masaka's lone judge now faces the additional avalanche of hundreds, possibly thousands of probate matters. Earlier this year, I visited courts across the country, from Gulu to Arua, from Barara to Fort Portal. What I saw in Masaka is not an anomaly. It is the national condition. One judge, thousands of cases, communities waiting, families suffering, justice vanishing. But the Constitution, in its wisdom, foresaw this. It did not leave us without tools. Article 142.2 gives the President, acting on the advice of the Judicial Service Commission, the power to appoint temporary judges when the state of business in the courts so requires. Let us be clear, the state of business in the courts requires it now. These temporary judges, let's call them mission-based judges, come in not for title or prestige. They come in to do the work. No pension, no official car, no escort, no right of way, just a mission: reduce backlog, serve justice, then return to their lives. This is not without precedent. When the military is overwhelmed, it calls in the reservists. When hospitals are overwhelmed, the private sector is mobilized. When the police is overstretched, they turn to community policing. When the courts are overwhelmed, as they now undeniably are, the nation must call upon the Uganda Law Society. That is the spirit and the urgent response of Article 142.2. But there is a catch, a cruel contradiction. The JSC, the very body mandated to advise the President on such appointments, is not fully constituted. Why? Because the Uganda Law Society's representatives remain unelected. Their election is stalled in the very same broken court system they are meant to reform. This is more than irony. It is dysfunction layered upon dysfunction. A Judicial Service Commission without the bar is not just incomplete, it is unfit. You cannot prescribe medicine while gagging the physician. In law, as in anatomy, a body without a vital organ does not function. It fails. And when that missing organ is the conscience of the legal profession, its absence is not silence, it is an alarm. We cannot solve this crisis from the bench alone. The bench must hear from the bar. This strike, if it must be called that, is not rebellion. It is not selfish. It is not political. It is the justice system speaking through the only voice left to it: silence. The silence of locked chambers, of vacated courtrooms, of a people tired of waiting for a justice that never arrives. As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once warned, we must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. This is not just a strike. This is a stand. This is the article by Mr. Ellison Karuhanga, a partner at Kampala Associated Advocates. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The MC requested me to listen to that so that my response can cover both. And I'm glad I did, because I didn't read the monitor of yesterday. I was traveling. I was on the road. It's a good article. It also underscores what all of us want. I have already said it is a chain, and we are all interested parties. The advocates, all state players, even the non-state actors, leave alone the litigants. We are all interested in one thing: justice, and our people having justice. What is required is for each one of us to play our role. I will not blame you for your action, but the point I want to make is, did you think through your action? So what is going to happen with what I had said? Those urgent matters that needed you to be there, what is going to happen? And I was saying the solution is really in communication. Let's talk to each other. I think there is an increasing tendency of not wanting to talk about matters. Can you imagine if Masakala is down their tools, then you hear Fort Poto, then you hear Mbarara, then because of the same reason, shall we have a solution? Is it not possible for all of us to contribute to a solution to a problem that we are all facing? Tell me, you're a council you are practicing both in Kampala and Masaka. Is the situation in the civil division any better? Even them having more judges? Or is it any better in the land division? Is it any better in other high court circuits? That's where we have now to reflect and say, why don't we engage and tell them what our problem is or what our challenge is? The good thing, the judiciary always has court open days where you are able to engage with the leadership of the judiciary, at least within that circuit, to raise those issues of concern. I requested to respond to the comment of Councillor Asimwe after hearing from Council on the issue of Masaka, because all we have, like myself, what I've learned about Masaka was in the social media. Actually, when we had a break, I consulted whether the Commission has received a copy of your petition or resolution or any earlier communication about the same, and I was advised that no, I stand to be corrected. Have you informed the Judicial Service Commission? You have a copy to that effect? If that is the case, then I'll find out what is being done. But the challenge is, it's not one institution. It's not, the solution even doesn't lie in laying down our tools. The solution lies in communication and exploring different avenues of addressing persistent matters, persistent disputes in court. Like the article of Council Elson Karhanga makes a proposal, but you think a proposal will be picked from a newspaper article or a social media post? I already told you that one of the functions of the Judicial Service Commission is to receive and process people's proposals, people's complaints about administration of justice in the country. Why don't you make a proposal, a viable one, and say, we would propose this to happen? So, it is sad that we are where we are, but my personal advice is that we need to engage. Let's not keep quiet. Let's not use extreme measures. Let us engage in discussions with all the stakeholders. I can assure you, Council, if you are in charge of the judiciary and you are the one supposed to ensure that there are judicial officers, there are support staff everywhere, you would face the same challenges. So you need to lead, and certain things don't happen in a moment. You know, to transfer a judicial officer from one station to another, it means he leaves what he has been doing, you know, all that kind of thing. So if someone says, give us some time, we need to bear. But more importantly, I want to emphasize the point that if you would like the Judicial Service Commission to be involved, we shouldn't read from newspapers that lawyers in Masaka are striking. When you've never sought an audience, when you have never petitioned them to intervene. Otherwise, the problem of inadequate judicial officers is there, and you have seen in the recent past there has been relative increase in the appointments of judicial officers to try to address some of those problems. Let's not alienate each other, but we agree that there is no problem that is too difficult to resolve through discussion. I think part of the practice in our trade is always negotiation. But we seem to, when you go to court, you even see some of the cases, and you say, but what was this council thinking about to file a matter like this? Why don't you negotiate some of the matters before they are even filed? How far have we adopted alternative dispute resolution? We as lawyers, how far do we go with that? How far have we used mediation? Instead, we are the roadblocks. Because you said, you are not allowed to talk to the other party unless I've advised you. Isn't it the case? And you know, even a matter which would have been solved faster takes much longer because of our adversarial type of litigation. My question is one, if you are not given another judge, what will you do? No, I'm not the judiciary. I'm not the one deciding. I'm asking you to think of solutions to problems. If I were you lawyers in Masaka, I would have already have discussed with my colleagues a possibility for arbitration. So can we discuss a possibility of arbitration? We remove our case from court, commercial cases. We remove our case from court and we handle it through arbitration. Have you thought about that? Have you encouraged your clients? Why do we continue to fail? Like those matters, they are really clear cut. Why? We just want, I know, sir, it is a strategy for lawyers to delay. They also don't want justice. You have a bad case, leave it in court to take as long as it can take. Instead of bringing it forward and finding a solution. But your concern is taken. The reason I remained up to this long was to hear it myself so that I can report back and request the commission to pay attention to that. I hope I have answered you. Asimwe, we are indeed, you can have a bridge. You have a bridge to Jinja and you don't pass there. You will pass everywhere obstacle, you don't see the bridge. We have not used these institutions the way we should. We think they are for decoration, other people will choose other functions, but I'm telling you, the people's bridge to justice is Judicial Service Commission. And if you come to the Judicial Service Commission and you do not get, or you are not helped, or you don't get an appropriate attention to your problem. Then you complain, because we are also accountable. Otherwise, I don't want to comment on the other comment of Councillor Elson, because that matter is in court. But I want to advise you young people, ourselves, we are the young people of today. Do we see how we paralyze ourselves? Is that something so great as to cause this delay? Will you blame the Judicial Service Commission? Let us talk. That is the advice I want to give ourselves. Thank you very much for inviting us. Thank you very much for being patient. Now, if I'm uncle, now this son of mine, Robert, I really love your moderation and all your kindness. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Councillor Sylvia wanted to make a gesture as Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam. Just a second. There's some protocol in which we take a group picture of all those who have honored the invitation across the board, and we invite everybody. So would like to invite all of us to the podium so that we can take a group picture for records purposes, but also thank you for being so kind and very, very patient with us. We really appreciate. Yeah, so one child, there was a child who was supposed to stand with us.
Okay. I would like to take this opportunity to call all the councils to the front. We are going to hold hands to join the cause of Masaka region, just to, like our previous Uncle Sam said, if there is a problem and the problem has to find solutions. So we hold hands together to show that we are in